Liu Sunzimo's Be Somebody 2021 begins with a group of failed filmmakers invited to reconstruct a real murder case for a mysterious producer. The entire story unfolds in a dimly lit conference room where storytelling becomes interrogation and filmmaking becomes survival. Though the space never changes, the composition does constantly rearranging who controls the frame and who is trapped within it. Here, framing is not just aesthetic, it is power, manipulation, and revelation.
权力是暂时的，欢笑是永恒的。
At 10 minutes in, the producer, the film's moral center, sits precisely at the geometric center of the table. The camera adopts a frontal, symmetrical composition, ceiling lights align above him, table edges converge toward his torso. The symmetry feels perfect, yet suffocating. The high-angle composition with the subject at the center highlights its superior status among all others. The central figure of power at this moment is repeatedly emphasized by being positioned at the golden section of the frame and with a dominant silhouette. Liu uses the frame to turn space into a psychological trap. The producer appears both central and powerless, a man staged for judgment. Occasional low-angle shots from the corners simulate CCTV perspectives, reinforcing the idea that every storyteller is also being watched.
有卖相，我吃香。合作愉快。
This part uses two Hitchcock zooms.
The first zoom shot utilizes a combination of camera movement and lens. Focal length adjustment to zoom in, causing the background to shrink. At this moment, the character just discovers that the murderer is sitting right next to them, experiencing a profound sense of shock and oppression. As an experienced journalist, he immediately grasps the truth upon recalling. The second zoom camera moves forward, reduces the lens focal length, expands the background, and the character's inner feelings become somewhat relaxed.
The group debates how to retell the murder story. The camera begins to circle the round table, a composition that visually equalizes them, yet hierarchy soon re-emerges. Foreground props, teacups, scripts, recording mics slice the frame into vertical layers. Those who speak are captured in shallow focus at the center. The silent ones drift into soft blur at the edges. The slow dolly movement traces a perfect circle, but within that geometry, power constantly shifts. The round table becomes a map of narrative control. During the confrontation between the screenwriter and the murderer, there are repeated camera axis crossing designs.
At the beginning of the dialogue, the camera remains on the right side of the axis between the two parties, highlighting a confrontation.
1赔10，对，赔10。不好意思，记错了，1赔8。
The camera is positioned to the left of the axis here, indicating the beginning of a transition and a shift in control. The killer attempts to regain the initiative and pulls back, with the camera returning to the right side of the axis.
当然不啊，你根本就不是为了钱，你就是想杀人。说什么话？你为什么？
Compared to the previous shot, this tends to be a wall riding shot, and an axis crossing is about to occur.
为什么要杀三郎？因为你为什么？
As the camera tilts, the eye-level shot transitions to an overhead shot, showcasing the interrogator's initiative, akin to God's judgment. A series of cuts featuring different shots, overhead and downward perspectives, multiple cross-axis movements, and a sense of disorder reflect the intense inner turmoil of the characters. In the climax, the visual grammar collapses, characters begin to cross the 180-degree line. Handheld shots break symmetry. The once stable geometry turns chaotic, faces fill the frame. Edges are cut off, and camera distance collapses into intimacy.
When truth surfaces, the frame no longer contains, it intrudes. Liu deliberately violates compositional balance to visualize the disintegration of fiction itself. The camera no longer observes. It accuses.
The scene where the head is poked into the room is a tribute to Kubrick's The Shining. The corpse hanging on the gatehouse early in the morning bears a striking resemblance to the suicide scene of Jiang Wen's The Sun Also Rises. The scene of a man wearing a white suit being knocked down is a tribute to the scene where Pitt is knocked down in Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. The group photo taken in the photo studio at the end is a tribute to Park Chan-wook's joint security area.
Through framing, Be Somebody transforms a single room into a battlefield of storytelling. Every composition negotiates control, exposure, and belief, asking not just who owns the story, but who is being framed within it.